there was a 40-minute video conference in March between Patriarch Kirill and Pope Francis. And Francis said, Kirill spent half of that March meeting reading off all the justifications for war and said that Kirill must not transform himself into Putin's altar boy. So we see here Francis does have some criticism of the Russian Patriarch, but I think by consecrating Russia and Ukraine in March, which I'm uncomfortable with, to be honest, because Our Lady didn't say Russia and Ukraine. I know Ukraine was part of Russia at that time, but there were other countries as well that were part of it. So this gets very complicated, I know. But it seems, and this is what I perceive Francis is perceiving of himself. Francis thinks that if he can influence Vladimir Putin, influence the Ukrainians, influence Joe Biden, and consecrate both countries as sort of an objective minister, an objective moral authority, that will do the trick. I think what Francis doesn't understand, and I think most Catholic bishops do not understand, is that they have lost their moral authority. Yes, by office, by being Pope, Cardinal, Bishop. Yes, you have the office and the jurisdiction and the claims. But when people hear you talk about moral obligations or what should be done, what they see while you're talking is Cardinal McCarrick, financial Vatican bank scandals, cardinals getting arrested, bishops moving around, predator priests, cover-ups, and a lack of transparency. We need a pope, we need cardinals, and we need bishops to recognize the bankruptcy in church authority. They have it by their office. But when people think, who are the holy men? Who are the men who speak with God? Who are the men that can guide us to heaven? Who are the men who can communicate grace, not just through the sacraments, which are ex opere operato, but through their words, through their example? I think the hierarchy needs to say, it's chapter 11 time, we need to invest not in real estate or Elton John, Rocket Man documentary, which they did, Vatican did. We need to reinvest in holiness, moral courage. And that's probably, if they really did it, it would lead to martyrdom. The powers that be in Europe, North America, the East, China, they wouldn't go for it. You know, for example, Francis just opened up the gate, the barn door for China, for the communists, for the secularists to run the church. I mean, Cardinal Zen was arrested last week by the very people Francis gave authority to run the church de facto in China. I appreciate everyone in the poll. I put the poll away, but most of you said that you think Francis should get involved. Has he been involved in any of the South American countries or North American countries or European countries who during his pontificate have had major movements, legalizations, news stories? We have one right now in the United States about the reversal perhaps of Roe v. Wade. And yet, generally, the majority of bishops are silent, and the Pope remains silent. I know he'll say pro-life things, but does he get involved as a moral authority? No. And so if you're not a moral authority there, and you're not a moral authority on traditional marriage, and you're not a moral authority on protecting and preserving the Catholics, the Christians in China, there needs to be a consistency.